Hey guys, this is Frank from Altcoin Buzz, and today we're going to be looking at DEXs. So as we all know, DeFi is pumping like crazy, but the decentralized exchanges is a niche which I'm personally interested in, and especially I'm interested in the advanced trading tools, more advanced trading tools than Uniswap currently provides. So we will have a look at the overall decentralized exchanges market, see how it's been performing compared to the centralized exchange market. We will have a look at the basics of decentralized exchanges, what the risks are, the pros and cons. We will compare the volume of centralized exchanges to decentralized exchanges. We will see who the top players are in the decentralized exchange space. We will do a recap of Q2 2020 of the DEX space. I'll briefly show you the whole range of decentralized exchanges here on DeFi Prime. We will also go over some tips for using Uniswap, which you may not have known, to decrease your costs and to decrease the risk of anything going wrong. And finally, we will look at one new DEX coming out, which I think could potentially have value. If you enjoy this content and want to see more of it, don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit that notification button, as it really helps to support the channel. Before I get started, I just want to let you know that I am not a financial advisor and that trading and investing presents financial risks. So as I'm sure most of you know, decentralized exchanges are without a central authority. That being said, not all DEXs are made equal, and some are more centralized than others. They're not all decentralized as such, and we will touch on more of that in a bit. So they allow peer-to-peer trading of cryptocurrencies, and they reduce the risk of theft from hacking of exchanges. But of course, we also have the risk of bugs in the code, as well as other issues which we'll touch on in a bit. Decentralized exchanges can also prevent price manipulation or faked trading volume through wash trading. So it's purported that 90% of the reported trading volume from centralized exchanges are, in fact, not real volume. So this is definitely something which is valuable. And of course, you are more anonymous. So fundamentally, you own your cryptocurrencies when you trade on decentralized exchanges, whereas if you trade on centralized exchanges, they own your crypto and you have to trust them. Now, in terms of the drawbacks, the users are at a loss if they are ever hacked for their passwords or private keys. This, of course, is a big pain point, and there are a range of solutions which are being developed as we speak to try and sort of make this easier for users. But ultimately, if you're not in control of your password or private key, if that doesn't in some way enable you to access the exchange, then you have to go through a third party. And that, of course, is not the point of DEXs. I personally look forward to biometric access. So, where I just look at a computer screen and then, I can access my DEX. That would be pretty cool, right? Or fingerprint, for example. But in any case, and then, of course, the degrees of decentralization. As I mentioned, not all DEXs are made equal, and some have centralized features. So IDEX apparently blocked New York State users from placing orders on the platform a while back. And in July 2018, DEX Bancor was reportedly hacked and suffered a loss of $13.5 million in assets before freezing funds. So, freezing funds sounds like a centralized exchange move to me. And of course, Charlie Lee, the creator of Litecoin, said that an exchange cannot be decentralized if it can lose or freeze customer funds. And finally, another risk is that operators of decentralized exchanges can face legal consequences from government regulators. One example is the founder of Ether Delta, who in November 2018 settled charges with the US Securities and Exchange Commission over operating an unregistered securities exchange. So there is, of course, some risk in setting up a DEX in the first place. That being said, the decentralized exchanges market has been booming. Just the last 7 days, you can see we've been up 18.45% compared to CEXs, or centralized exchanges, which are down 0.16%. Now let's have a look at these in a bit bigger time frame to see what's going on. So if we click 6M, of course, which stands for 6 months, you can see that we've had a 229% increase. And notice that something very important here. You see this list? You see something important missing from this list? Right? Uniswap. Uniswap is not here because they do not have a token. However, if they had a token, I'm sure they would represent a lot of the market cap value of this bag of cryptocurrencies. That being said, right now, this watch list market cap stands at 2.249 billion, with a 229% increase over the last 6 months. And let's have a look over the last 1 month. So 52% just over the last month. So certainly the growth does not seem to be slowing in any way whatsoever. Only the last 24 hours, we've seen a dip. So this 2.3 billion market cap is compared to the centralized exchanges of 6.9 billion. But again, as I mentioned, the fact that Uniswap is not there is very important. Now, the watchlist market cap for this over the last 6 months is only up 18%, right? So you can see that there's a huge growth in DEXs right now. And of course, Binance Coin represents half of this whole market cap. So if Binance Coin goes up by a few percent, this could change quite quickly. I personally think Binance Coin is a little bit undervalued right now. I've got a small position in it as we speak. That being said, I'm much more excited about DEXs, and I think they have much more growth potential, and I wouldn't be surprised if a large part of this $6.8 billion market cap is captured by the DEXs, which currently represent only $2.3 billion. Now, one thing which DEXs struggle with so far, at least, is derivatives. They don't really have derivatives, or at least none that I know of, where you can trade them easily or as quickly or as efficiently as you can on centralized exchanges. And as you can see, derivatives very often actually represent much more of the trading volume than spot volume. So you can see 24-hour open interest here, 1.5 billion, 1.2 billion, 1.2 billion. The volume, 5.2 billion, 9 billion, 2.7 billion. You have really massive numbers here. And if we go over to the spot volume of centralized exchanges, you can see there's also 4.5 billion, but they don't quite match the derivatives. So if the DEXs start incorporating derivatives, things could get really nuts. But if we just compare, for example, the 24-hour volume of the top 3 exchanges here, you can see they range between 4.5 billion for Binance down to 385 million for Kraken. And now if we go to the DEXs, the top DEX, which is of course Uniswap, only has 275 million. So it wouldn't even make it into the top 3 of centralized exchanges. So this tells me that we still have room to grow despite the recent growth that we've seen. And of course, the more new projects are listed, when they struggle to get on new exchanges, like now they just go on Uniswap. And like, it's no wonder that a lot of cryptocurrencies are popping up now, and that it's basically like another ICO boom, right? Except that now they don't have to request getting listed on centralized exchanges, or at least they don't depend on it as much. And there's significant volume from these DEXs. And here, of course, you can see the 24-hour trading volume for all the DEXs, 739 million. That's only like 15% of all the 24-hour volume for Binance. So that's all the DEXs combined. So really, although we'll probably see dips in the value of DEX tokens, I think that this DeFi boom, and the DEXs especially, is just the beginning, Now, dapradar.com here did a summary of Q2, that's of course April, June, and July, and compared that to Q1. And they talked about how there was a 54% increase in trading volume and 37% increase in trader counts in Q2 2020 quarter on quarter. So that is comparing these numbers to the previous quarter. Now, unfortunately, a lot of that growth was mainly driven by 2 governance tokens, Compound and Balancer. So it wasn't sort of widely distributed between a range of tokens. But then we have here the top 8 DEX app summary of 2019 to 2020. Some interesting things to note here. First of all, Curve, you can see, has a very low trader count compared to the other projects here. I'm not quite sure why they don't have any pairs available for 0x, but in any case, Uniswap, of course, takes the top place here, and it has 535 trading pairs available. So it really outperforms compared to these other exchanges, which have much less compared to that. And indeed here they say that Uniswap retains its leadership position, generating 30% of the total trading volume in Q2 2020. And as we can see from the last 24 hours, this 275 million is approximately 30% of all the trading volume of the last month as well. So Kyber actually lost market share in Q2 2020 by trading volumes from 21% to 12%. Still, it is in the top 5. Next, Curve made a drastic increase in Q2 2020 as trading value surged from 137 million in Q1 to 426 million in Q2 2020. So again, as mentioned, Curve is increasing its market share and its trading volume, but for some reason it doesn't have that many traders. And then of course the big problem here is that while the majority of dApps surged due to the effect of governance tokens, the rest still struggled due to high Ethereum gas prices. So I would personally love to test out a whole bunch of different DEXs, but if I have to pay $10 for every trade that I make, it just doesn't really make sense. So I really hope that these layer 2 solutions and or Ethereum 2.0 will help resolve these issues. And Oasis apparently has been struggling for a while and appears to have never recovered from the Black Thursday events, both trading volume and trader counts have decreased steadily. Okay, now in terms of decentralized exchanges, if we just click on all here, scroll down, you can see there's about 40 different decentralized exchanges right now. So there really is a huge range of them. And here you can separate them. Of course, the Ethereum exchanges represent most of them. Bitcoin exchanges, they only have 5 here, although the number of exchanges which trade wrapped Bitcoin are steadily increasing, that's for sure. EOS has only 5, Tron, just a couple, and then the aggregators, these are interesting because they aggregate liquidity and orders from a whole range of different exchanges. So for example, the 1inch.exchange splits the order to several DEXs like Uniswap Exchange, Kyber Network, Bancor, and Radar Relay to avoid high price slippage. And if you go to no KYC, pretty much all of them are no KYC. That's kind of one of the biggest selling points of decentralized exchanges, is that they are anonymous. So here, of course, we're on the 1inch.exchange, where you can see that they aggregate these different DEXs, Moonshot, Oasis, Kyber, Uniswap, Balancer, and then you just enter the amount that you want, for example, 10,000 uptrend, and then you get the price. Of course, in this case, you would have some slippage because there's generally low liquidity for this. If you guys haven't used the DEX, I strongly recommend you do so. This is the beginning of the future. It's really exciting to be part of it. So, you just connect wallet, and then you connect through MetaMask or any other wallet that you have. I personally use MetaMask. It's really easy. Okay, for this next part of the video, I want to compare 2 decentralized exchanges, which particularly interest me. And the reason for that is that they offer more advanced trading tools. So we will be having a look at Diversify, which is a spin-off from Ethernex, and Unitrade. So let's start with Diversify. Now, this is one which I think potentially is quite undervalued right now. But before we look into that, let's start with Diversify. So Diversify gives traders the edge in fast-moving DeFi markets by allowing them to trade at lightning speed with deep aggregated liquidity directly from their privately owned cryptocurrency wallet. And here they claim to have just 0 to 0.2% fees. I actually look forward to trying out this exchange. I'm going to do so over the coming days and weeks. Now, in terms of the advantages of trading on Diversify, of course, you have lightning speeds. They say that they can settle up to 9,000 trades per second via UI or API. And there's no danger of rollbacks or failed trades. Like, for example, on Uniswap, you sometimes have failed trades. Although, of course, there are ways to get around that as well, even on Uniswap. You just have to change the settings to allow for a higher slippage. Okay, but in any case, back to Diversify. So here, of course, they talk about the $1.4 billion of crypto assets which were compromised from centralized exchanges in 2014. And they compare that to Diversify here, saying that the funds traded on Diversify are secured by heavily audited smart contracts. It's very important that any DEX that you use has been audited. So if Diversify goes offline, you can always retrieve your assets. And interestingly enough, Diversify aggregates liquidity from both centralized and self-custodial sources. You can capitalize on the best prices, low slippage, a tight bid offer, and some of the deepest order books in the industry. Or at least so they claim. Again, I haven't checked this out, but these are certainly the types of things which traders are looking for. And one of the ways they make it so fast, I suppose, is that all transaction data is handled off-chain with only commitments to the new state being periodically published to the blockchain. And here, of course, they start talking about the fees. So if you have NECTAR tokens, you get discounts on the fees, and the fees range from 0 to 0.2%, and 50% of the exchange revenues are being used to buy and burn NEC tokens. So we will see how this compares to Unitrade in a bit. This part gets quite interesting. Now, in terms of partners, they have Consensus, Ledger, Bitfinex, so big names, obviously. As I mentioned, Ethernex basically turned into Diversify a while back, a few months ago. Okay, so now in terms of the NECTAR token, you can see it has a market cap of $43 million, but the 24-hour trading volume is only $69,000. I'm not entirely sure if this is accurate, but that is extremely low trading volume. And the circulating supply, you can see only 20% is available right now. So that means that as more tokens enter the market, they have more sell pressure, which is not ideal. So I haven't actually bought any NECTAR token. I want to look into it a bit more before I do. I'm generally looking for smaller market caps, like in the $5 to $10 million range. But in any case, you can see the performance has not been great since it launched back in April 2018. And I'm not sure what went on over here. This looks pretty scary, going down to 0.001. Of course, it has been booming over the past several months, but then again, I suppose pretty much all DEXs have. Okay, but now compare this to Unitrade. Let's first of all look at the tokenomics. So the circulating supply has more than half of the 50 million are available. So this means that there's less potential sell pressure moving forward. Next, of course, it has a market cap of just $14 million. So I think it has much more room for growth than NECTAR at this point. Now, the thing about Unitrade is that this is very new. So first of all, let's see what Unitrade is all about. So it's a completely decentralized trading platform in the DeFi space that is built on top of Uniswap liquidity pools and requires no KYC, no accounts, and has no trading limits. So Unitrade will tap into the $200 million a day trading volume. As we've seen, this is even higher recently, which currently holds 40% market share among other DEXs. And the goal of Unitrade is to tap into Uniswap's user base, which has registered 27,000 new unique users in a single month. And what they're offering here is a sleek interface and powerful trading tools which people are asking for, which is exactly what I want. When I trade, one of the reasons I don't use DEXs that much is that I can't place orders as efficiently or as specifically or in the exact ways that I want to on Binance. For example, I can't have futures or stop limit orders, or at least not on Uniswap. So unlike Uniswap, the live order book here will let you preview all of the buys and sells that are happening given a specific token pair on the Unitrade platform. You'll have detailed charts of all the live trade action, and you can also manage your liquidity by maximizing earnings by settling breakpoints that will add or remove your liquidity pairs from Uniswap pools if the price falls below or increases past a set amount. So the founder and developer here said, Uniswap is an amazing platform, but it's so new and there are so many times I wish I could set up buy orders or sell orders at specific prices for tokens. And I feel exactly the same way. There just wasn't anything out there to simply automate that. That's when the Unitrade idea formed. So this is where it gets interesting. Remember how the NECTAR token, they only burn up to 50% of the trading fees. So here, a small fee is collected. I'm not sure what the fee is yet. I suppose it will be announced shortly. And they say 10% of the fees are stored for future development, but the remaining 90% buys Unitrade directly from the Trade ETH Uniswap liquidity pool and burns them, of course, decreasing the supply and increasing the price. So that's a huge percentage buyback. That basically means if anyone's using the platform, a lot of tokens are going to be bought from the market. Now, in terms of the token information, you can see that there was an over-the-counter pre-sale, which is now in circulation. So these people are probably waiting for the price to increase. This could create some sell pressure. However, the liquidity in development represents 40% as well. This liquidity is locked and the rest is vested over a year. The reserve and team, just 10% seems reasonable, vested over a year. Audits, marketing, partnerships, all very important, also vested over a year. So the majority of the tokens which are not yet in supply will be vested over the following year. They won't all be able to dump at the same time if they wanted to. Now, this is what gets me the most excited about Unitrade, and it's one of the reasons that I bought this a couple days ago, is this potential hype cycle. So they have several very clearly outlined dates on their roadmap, all within the next month and a half. On August 20th, they have the tech and business white paper. Now, of course, it's important to be able to look at the white paper. That's why I didn't buy a lot, and I don't recommend you do. These things can drop in price very quickly. But, that's part of the risk that you're paying for getting in so early, is that, you're taking a risk that things might not look great, but, you're kind of giving them a chance. So I will be interested in potentially buying more if, this develops positively over the coming days and weeks. Then, of course, August 22nd, the Unitrade platform user interface designs, finalized and front-end development begins. September 11th, in a couple of weeks, the Unitrade.app development beta launch. Third-party security audit, very important, of course, on September 14th. And then in about a month and a half, the Unitrade official platform launch. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see increasing prices for trade up until September 30th. That being said, I'm also very interested in trying out the platform when it finally comes out. And you can kind of see how much interest there is in Unitrade. First of all, the trading volume, $2.5 million compared to NECTAR's $69,000. NECTAR only has 405 people who have liked this on CoinGecko. Unitrade is a much newer coin, already has 2,364 people. So you can see that the community is building up quite quickly here. Now, in terms of price performance, you can see we had a big move here in the beginning of August. Then we had a lot of consolidation between August 8th and August 11th. Then we had another big move up, and now we've had consolidation for quite a while here, and it looks like we might be starting to break out for a new move. Who knows? Certainly, it looks like positive price momentum over the past couple of weeks. And also, of course, we are at a 30% discount from the all-time high, which was created on August 13th. That's one of the reasons I got in. I don't like to get into coins which are already creating a new all-time highs. But if they have pulled back like this, then it's an indication that you might be getting in at a good price. Okay, with that being said, now let's have a look at some Uniswap tricks. So this is from Shash, our CEO of Altcoin Buzz. Uniswap tip 2. Find your trading pair on uniswap.info and look at transactions. Place your order immediately when someone places a large order in the opposite pair. For example, if you want to swap your Ethereum into swap, wait for a big swap to ETH order to come and then place your order. This, of course, will enable you to get the best price on your order because there will be someone who is wanting to take your trade in the opposite direction. Then another great Uniswap trick is to trade against WETH or wrapped ETH instead of Ethereum. This will give you lower fees and lower transactions. You can later swap WETH to ETH one-to-one to save on time and money. And if you're wondering why this is, it's because of the way the swap is routed. So in Uniswap version 2, there are no more direct Ethereum pairs. All Ethereum must be converted to WETH first, or WETH, I'm not sure how most people pronounce that, done by the router. And then you see the trading pairs are between WETH and the other coins. So that's why you simply convert your ETH into WETH, and then you have lower fees and faster transactions. Alright guys, that's been it from me today for this video. Let me know which DEXs you have personally used. Have you invested in any other new DEXs? Are you looking forward to any other DEXs which are coming out? I'd be very curious to hear your thoughts. Alright guys, have a good one, and I'll see you in the next one.